Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Wild too. Uh, so Dragon, what's the name of the show we're going over again?
Oh, funny you should ask. We're talking.
Yep, that's right, folks. We now have a custom intro for this show.
Yes, we're talking Invincible Season 3, Episode 4. You were my hero!
You were my hero. Usually, this would be like the midway point where where the season would end for a couple weeks and then return. Previously, right?
Yeah.
But due to the fact that they released 3 episodes up front, we get the whole because they basically get the whole season.
Yeah, it kind of takes it back to how Season 1 went, so it's good.
Yep.
And Kirkman has gone on record saying that right now they're on track to do Invincible yearly, so he can't promise February every time, but he's saying, well, it's definitely going to be coming out on an annual basis, which is really cool, and it sounds like he's really taking his time with it. But he's been kind of blazing through the story at a really solid pace, like not a super fast pace, but I think just the right pace. So it's again, Invincible is a story that has an ending, and again, that's assuming maybe you could add some like spokes to the wheel, which so far I haven't really seen any major deviations from the core story. But it's I love the idea that we have an ending that we're going to, but we're taking our time to explore things, really kind of revel in the character progression. So I'm plus, I mean, worst case, if they ever want to delay things, we could always do like stuff like the Adam Eve special. So we're good because people have been asking for it. People have been dying for a Rexplode origin episode like we had with Eve.
A Rex one would definitely be interesting, or maybe just Teen Team in general.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. So I mean, basically people are saying like give Rexplode a spin-off, and I think more achievably it would be like let's just do a special. But yeah,
like I said, if not just I mean, Rex would probably be the one I'd want the most, considering I think Rex is like the most progression of the Teen Team outside of Eve.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, but I would actually be fine with just a Teen Team special.
Yeah.
If it's not solely focused on Rex.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, my thoughts on this season so far. You want those?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is definitely kind of an interesting season so far as it goes into its third year. It continues where the season continues where it left off after Mark's climactic battle with Angstrom Levy. It continues to pull in the nice character moments and the oh my god superhero moments. Like as I picked them as in the oh my god moments. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
and this season continues to show. Although it's like still nothing really tops like the beginning and the end of season 1, if you ask me. Like the Omni-Man killing the Guardians and then the fight against Mark.
Right. So you're saying still nothing's really kind of like measured up to that for you so far.
I mean, because it's the shock factor in that one.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. And the fight against the Viltrumites in it's been a while, and then obviously the fight against Angstrom Levi, those come close too. But and don't get me wrong, the stuff you see in these episodes are awesome, but it just doesn't have that. I'm still waiting. You get what I'm trying to say, right?
I think so.
I said it's still good. I'm still entertained by it, but it's the initial punch of it. If pardon the pun. But I'm still liking what I'm seeing so far. I like the character progression. I'm liking the fact that even Mark finally got together. I mean, that was a nice. It was kind of like, was it going to happen for a moment? Even after he after Rick basically told him, "Don't tell her about the alternate Eve," and then he told her about the alternate Eve.
But again, the spirit of full disclosure. Again, one of the themes of this season feels like it's no secrets or no more secrets, and he didn't want to keep anything from her.
I know, and it ultimately did work out.
Yeah, thank goodness, because if it didn't, they'd be like, oh, poor Kirkman, he just can't, like, people are going to rail against, like, really? We finally got you did that? Oh, Kirk, what are you thinking?
I know it. I mean, it would have been. That also would have been an interesting angle to take. But actually, they both, Mark and Eve, were mature about the whole thing, and it worked out.
Oh yeah, see these two are like a wonderful relationship in the story that I think a lot of people are. So far, we're on just based on this episode. Them together is as good as it is in the comics, so it's gonna be. I think we're in for a treat.
And of course, his new little brother Oliver. He's kind of interesting. Interesting development so far.
Yep.
And one of the oh my god moments I mentioned was him killing the Maulers.
Yeah, very sad to see the Maulers go.
Yep, they were actually very entertaining.
Oh yeah, I always loved the Maulers just being. There's so many subversions in this show, and the Maulers just being the subversions. Okay, see two giant blue bruisers, you think, okay, they're going to be kind of like Slavic or just kind of very kind of John DiMaggio kind of types. And
nope, they're actually geniuses.
Exactly, which is such a fantastic idea. Which again, like that's kind of the thing he has with a lot of the villains, like especially the comic tropey villains, of like, just don't underestimate them, like the Lizard League.
Yeah, we saw what they did to Rex and the rest of the league.
Well, one of them ate Ray.
Well, but she's fine.
Well, yeah, thank goodness.
Well, fine physically.
Yeah.
And even at the beginning of this one, she's out shopping for groceries with Rex.
So speaking of which, I guess starting to break things down.
Yep. Rex and Ray are out shopping.
I love some mundanity. I love just them. The idea that since they kind of broke things off with Cecil and the GDA, they're on their own for food.
Yeah, and the rest of the Guardians, and like Rex admitting that he stole Robot's credit card number,
which is really funny.
Yep, it's totally something
Rex would lived on pizza and takeout.
It's something that is totally something the old Rex would have done.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been kind of like smelling something in the air with Rex and Shrink and Ray, and I think there's something there. I'd like to think maybe these two crazy kids might get together. I mean, here's the thing: I'm head over heels. I've always been kind of head over heels for Ray, because it's going to sound really silly, but she just feels like a Jack Kirby character, and I really like that. She just feels like a girl from Brooklyn who it's kind of like if Ant-Man were from Brooklyn. That's kind of what it feels like, and I just really like it. So I don't know, because of that, she just feels so. Plus, she's voiced by Grey DeLisle, which is always a huge plus for me. So there's a lot I really love about her, and I see some people have been shipping them. I'm kind of seeing it.
And to be fair, she basically voices every female character in this show.
Pretty much, like, let's say at minimum a third, probably more.
Yeah, it's not her. It's like Kari Wahlgren or
exactly.
Somebody.
So between her, Kari Wahlgren, and then we have kind of our principal cast, let's call them, and kind of like the third quadrant. So it's pretty much like Grey DeLisle is like a third of every character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so some people have been kind of shipping them together, and I'd be down for it, frankly, because Rex has had growth and he knows Ray and he was concerned about her. They both almost died together, and I don't know. She's very charming. I don't know.
I mean, I can kind of see it. I do kind of see there's a little bit of a spark between them there. I think
it's not hitting you over the head with it too, which I appreciate. Just like Rex is trying to be a little nicer. The whole thing with the like, I'll take all the. Basically, you mean dairy? Yes, I'll take all the dairy.
Aww.
All the cheese and milk and stuff. You mean the dairy? Yeah.
It's like Rex has definitely grown. It's like he's some part of it's like, I thought you're supposed to be not thought you weren't a jerk anymore. It's baby steps, Eve. Baby steps. he's still a jerk, but he's still a little bit of a jerk, but he's more of a lovable jerk.
Yeah.
If that may, I mean, he was kind of one before, but now you're kind of rooting for the guy.
All right. Meanwhile, back during the main plot. So picking up where the last episode left off, Mark he brings the kind of the little spy probe to Robot to analyze, and basically, the Robot says it's too damaged to really determine who made it, or where it might be from, or when it might be from.
But he thinks about someone with resources and keeping secrets.
Gives Mark an impulsive idea. He breaks into the Pentagon again. just it's a typical Tuesday. Breaks into the Pentagon.
Yeah, and it's like, and Cecil's like You do realize this is costing us millions of dollars, right, Mark?
I love that. I love the detail that because remember Mark had the little ear thing removed that had the
but
Kraken call in it,
so he had speakers installed.
which is a really good idea. I love that it's a practical way of like you can activate it. So basically give him a little barrier, give him a little like.
well, speaking of which, episode 2 where we learn about his past. We
I
see
love episode 2. It might be my favorite so far.
it is like where we learn about Walter. We learn about Cecil's past, where we learn his philosophy. It's like you can be the good guy or the guy who saves the world. You
Can't be both.
It's a good line.
Oh yeah.
And of course, Walton Goggins continues to knock it out of the park.
That's the other theme of the season right there. That line, you can't be, you can be the good guy or the guy who saves the world, but you can't be both. Like that and the whole like no secrets thing. Those were like those are the things that Mark's trying to deal with this season.
Yep. Have you seen Fallout, by the way?
I have not. I know Goggins is in it. He seems to have like a really cool looking character, but I know nothing of Fallout.
I think he's one of the ghouls.
Well, yeah, I know he's a guy without a nose. That's as much as I've seen what he looks like. It's pretty much it's all I know about Fallout.
Yeah, he's a ghoul, and obviously Fallout's based on the games. And
I know Fallout's based on a game. I know it has like cool music in it.
Yeah, it's inspired by like 50s retrofuturism.
Yeah, so that's as much. Literally, that is as much as I know about Fallout.
I haven't actually seen the show yet myself, but I hear he's graded, and I hear that he says that season 2 is even better.
Okay.
I mean, it received like wide acclaim and awards too. So.
By the way, Goggins has always been kind of a standout with this show. He's a top-notch actor. So him as Cecil is great. And here, just like he plays it so cool when Mark shows up, and he's
like, not this again.
It's like you know what you did. Let's both do me the courtesy and let's pretend I don't.
And I love how he's like basically still not taking any crap from Mark,
which is great. And I love that. The thing with episode 2, yeah,
he's scared of he says he mentions that he's scared of Mark, but he's still not going to take any crap from him.
But that's the thing. I love the ambiguity with Cecil and just this whole conflict between them, and that it's kind of like a Captain America Civil War thing where both sides aren't. It's unlike the comic, not the Invincible, it's unlike the Civil War comic. It's not very skewed. Iron Man's very much in the wrong. It's very much like okay, they're both right about certain things in this conflict with each other. Like Cecil's right in that they should have a contingency, but by the same token, it's kind of Batman, Superman at the kryptonite. Superman many times Superman will permit the kryptonite, realizing the danger there. Cecil's all about full transparency, yet he did not offer that to Mark, which having that against Nolan, clearly he wanted that an advantage there because he knew. But again, Mark. You got the feeling that Cecil had grown a respect and kind of a friendship. At the very least, during the training montage, by that point, they were really bonding. I think the way I read is that Mark may have seen Cecil somewhat as definitely as a friend, possibly. I can make this leap. Bit of a father figure, which the Immortals kind of went as far as to say as well. Like kind of maybe a bit of a fatherly kind of thing there, because Cecil was helping him out. He was training him like his dad did. So there's a lot of stuff there.
Yep.
So, which is why Mark feels betrayed, and then Cecil's absolutely right in that Mark is headstrong and that he's letting his temper get to him. Which so many times, he killed a bunch of. Again, no intention of really hurting Cecil, but he did. He had there's a threatening tone, and he's like bashing all the Reanimen. Well, he didn't have to. Nope. So Cecil does have a point, but
Cecil has more of a point than a lot of people give him credit for.
Exactly, and I just love that. I love that it's this kind of wonderfully genuine, messy thing, and you feel sympathy for him, right?
I've read some comments about that. It's like he's basically the one who has to pick up the mess and do the job that nobody wants to do.
Yeah,
he's basically a somebody has to do it kind of guy.
Exactly,
and and he's not exactly. I mean, I love how he doesn't exactly lie to Mark when he's like, "This isn't our drone." It's like he even alludes to it, like, "Mark, if we were spying on you, you wouldn't know it."
Which is him telling the truth even more so. Like, yeah, you don't know that we are spying on you, but not with this.
Yeah. Yep, he's not lying, but he's also not revealing the full truth. Which is,
and again, I love that he is when Mark shows up, touting this off. There is a little bit of fear in there, like, oh god, that's a terrifying way to start the morning.
Yep. And I love even Donald's like, but sir, we are spying on him. Yes, Donald, but not with this.
But they are looking into it. They're going to look on who else is spying on the Grayson family.
I wonder, do you know who? Do you have any ideas of who it could be?
I do.
Do you think it's like another Angstrom?
I don't know if you want me to confirm nor deny that.
I mean, Dragon. I mean, you're more familiar with the comics than I am. I'm gonna be.
Well, I mean, also, I mean, well, okay, look, I guess it's not a. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. Because we saw it in the post-credit scene of last episode. Remember, we saw Angstrom.
Oh
Well, we
yeah.
saw his hand and we heard Sterling K. Brown's voice. That is
Oh,
essentially Angstrom Levy. Now, whether or not that is like the original Angstrom, I will leave up in the air.
not the one who was like, I will not rest until I've killed Invincible.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave that up in the air for the time being.
Yeah, Angstrom Levy might be alive, or at least another version of him
That's
might.
the thing. It's unclear whether it's somehow he lived, which would undo a lot of baggage that Mark's dealing with, or if that's just an Angstrom from Multiverse.
Who knows?
I'll say one thing, kind of topical, if it is, just given we do Angstrom Levy, and then we have certain Marvel movies coming out.
Angstrom Levy, yeah.
Just other kind of like people touting off multiverses with brain stuff going on.
Yep, I guess
Just
so.
just just throwing it out there. Anyway, so Mark is kind of torn away because he has a date with Eve, and they're going to
Aw.
Paris. I love this gag that we keep going to. The Grayson men love taking their dates to Paris.
Well, I mean, it's the most romantic city and all that.
Boy, girl, city of love.
Yep, romance is a foregone conclusion.
Yep. So I think it's funny here that because Eve can fly. He took. I love that he took Amber to Vegas in front of that the Eiffel Tower in Vegas.
Yeah, but because he didn't want to like, carry her all the way over to France.
Well, for her own safety.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's basically what I was alluding to. But yeah. But
Yeah.
but Eve, no problem.
Exactly. So she gets the actual Paris.
So yeah. Not that Amber minds now though.
Yeah, nothing against the Amber with that. I'm just saying it's just kind of a perk of Eve can fly.
And speaking of which, I do kind of like that Amber and Eve are kind of bonding.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, again, after season one, I think we really did. We did right. I think. Look, a lot of people might disagree. I think we did right by Amber after season one.
It's like, I mean, they're adding
And
more.
that's not even all of season. I liked Amber in season one until we did the twist for maybe 2 episodes, which really kind of sucked. But aside from that, Amber was fine. I liked her.
And like I said, when they peeled back the layers and revealed like why she feels the way she does.
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But now, even like, please tell me that's not a portal opening next to us.
Very much an Infinity War kind of moment.
Yep. Except instead of just teleportation, it's from the future.
Yes, and now these gentlemen here. Now we saw them in episode 1. It's Fight Master and I'm trying to remember the other one's name. Dropkicks. Fight Master and Dropkick, and they're both voiced by Zolo. I'm always going to butcher his last name, Miguel from Cobra Kai.
All right.
Also Blue Beetle, that guy. That is him. So he plays both brothers here, and these guys are like a nod to the. And I love when Kirkman does like these kind of nods here with all these heroes. So these guys are I think it's a meta joke of like these guys are a nod to. In general, they're a nod to Legion of Superheroes, where basically in the comics, Legion of Superheroes. I mean, you know Legion, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So for the folks out there, is put simply, Legion of Superheroes group from the future that were very much kind of rallied or inspired by Superman, or at least pals of Superman. So they go back in time and they kind of like tell Superman stuff about the future, kind of tongue in cheekly. And one of the members of the Legion of Superheroes was a character named the Karate Kid. And yes, that was something they had to deal with when they were making the original movie. But the point being, I think it's kind of a nod to, hey, Cobra Kai, we're going to get one of those guys to voice a member of a kind of a parody of the Legion of Superheroes. You give them the Karate Kid connection. I like to think that is intentional.
It has layers.
Yeah. Anyway, so these guys, they're the ones who stole Declaration of Independence, apparently for good reason.
Yeah, it's like Apparently, they think that the ink from it could be used to take down their king.
No luck.
Nope. Apparently the reason they and like after Mark, like they try to convince Mark to come to the future, come with them, Back to the Future and all that. Honestly, surprised this show didn't try and play Power of Love or something like that.
No, that's Deadpool's job.
Yeah, that would be if yep if de- yep it is Deadpool's job. But anyway, it's like so either way, he Mark firmly turns them down.
And then they kidnap him to the future anyway.
Yep, and he's like, and he's about to throw down with them. And
They please, we can prove it. Come on.
And then, as it turns out, he already had his superhero clothes on him.
Yeah, it's kind of Superman rules, I guess.
It's like, you already had your clothes on you? It's like, don't judge me. and then a future Mark took and grabbed his clothes.
So I love the payoff with that. By the way, why do you look so sad?
And they're like usually involving time travel, you don't want to know the answer to that question.
It's great. It's a good joke.
And when we find out later, it's not a joke.
Yep. Okay. So overall, so we have in a possible future in which Mark. The implication is that Mark ended up ruling the Earth. Yes. He left the planet with his family and left this king in charge, and this king was the Immortal.
Not the Immortal King, the Immortal.
Yes, the Immortal.
And let's just say the years have not been kind to the Immortal.
No, they haven't. So this
he still looks the same except for a beard now, but
yeah.
Let's just say his mind. His mind is so far gone.
Okay, so a couple things to break down here. Okay, one. This is so this was something from the comics. So again, this is like I always go on about this kind of thing where I binge through the comics so I would have like a familiarity, but I wouldn't know everything that's coming. So I did like one time, and so I did remember this story when it started. I did not know we were going to get it this soon. I guess I kind of forgot. Like I don't know if in the comic it came later and we put it earlier, or because it's time travel, it was always kind of like slated after he got the new costume. But yeah, this was this was really cool to see kind of brought to life, and I think rather effectively. And again, the thing I love with what we're doing, whatever we're adapting, we're thematically tying it in and weaving it into like Mark's journey here. So the fact is, Mark is forced to do something he's really uncomfortable with, and also we're kind of teeing up maybe the the Viltrum goal, like he might align with whether he likes it or not.
It's like because the Immortal's been alive so long, he's practically begging for death.
So that's always the funny thing with the Immortal too, is that the Immortal, he was Abraham Lincoln. He gets into such. He's been alive for so long, and also the trauma of being killed occasionally. It's this thing where he
doesn't even remember Kate, who he just got engaged to in the present time.
It is very much a Ra's al Ghul or like Vandal Savage kind, especially Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul has been, he has sired children, so it's more Ra's than I don't know. If Vandal has like at least one kid. I don't know if he's had kids over the. He probably has. But the point being,
hasn't Ra's al Ghul have at least 3 kids?
Well, that's the thing. So Ra's al Ghul, there's so with Ra's, he's actually like siring children. Actually, kind of like he cares about them. Vandal Savage, it's probably like a Genghis Khan kind of a thing where he has like Scandal Savage, but aside from that, it's probably more of just like he slept with everyone. So there's probably some Vandal Savages going around. Ra's al Ghul, he's had Talia al Ghul, Nisa al Ghul, and Arkady Duval, if you count the animated series. I forget if Arkady Duval is from the comics or not. It might have just been for the animated series, but I'm sure there have been others too throughout time.
All right, that makes sense.
But those are the core ones. I'm just saying, as far as like through time goes, you have Arkady Duval. He was like the one from the Old West.
All right.
Well, beyond like he grew up in the old
semantics and crossed paths with Jonah Hex,
which was awesome.
And that was in the animated series.
That was in the animated series. No idea if Arkady was a direct comic pull or not. At the very least, even if Arkady Duval was a comic pull, I don't know if he was related to Ra's al Ghul in the comics. So that's
all right. But as you were saying,
yeah. So the point being, So the thing of the Immortals, that we've already seen the Immortal because of like this life experience and the trauma of like revival. Which is kind of like a Jason Todd, kind of like Lazarus Pit, or Ra's al Ghul, kind of, and Jason Todd, just kind of like revival thing that we've seen. there's an instability, and he has gone off the deep end rather easily. Like every time he gets revived, he has almost like a Darth Maul, like kind of Kenobi thing going on with him.
Kenobi.
Yep, you ever like Omni-Man? Just George, that's the guy who cut me in half. That's the guy who chopped my head off.
And even Mark, after the whole, after one of the oh my god moments in this episode, where Mark literally pulls off the Immortal's head.
Mm-hmm.
He even tells the twins like keep them separate or they'll just come back.
Yep. But yeah, it's really sad though. I just again Ross Marquardt, he's a really good actor. He plays a lot of characters in this show. Like he's the Immortal. He's Rudy. Like the real robot. And I'm sure he's voiced. I know he's voiced others, and I was blanking on like some of the other ones. It's like the guy's an impressionist too. He does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's quite good at it.
Oh, also he was the Red Skull in. He was the replacement Red Skull in the MCU.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. Here's something no one's ever going to tell you. Okay, he did this podcast. It was like a radio play, but it was not as a podcast. Blockbuster, the Blockbuster podcast. He played the role of a young James Cameron. He was fantastic in it.
Nice.
Oh, it's really good. Anyway,
so yeah, like he's been alive so long. He's like he reveals like basically a big shocker that Mark left him in charge.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's like, wait, what?
So I love that's just like throwing Mark for a loop, and he's already dealing with the implications of like the fear of everyone's like afraid of him. That like Cecil is putting out the fear that he could go rogue like his father, and like oh god, he's saying, I was formally in charge of the planet. That kind of there's some implications there.
And like he left to do who knows what.
Mm-hmm.
And then. I mean, that means the future. That means that Mark is still out there in the universe somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And the one that was left there, the one that was obviously left the Immortal in charge, and he's like it was fine for a while, but
yes, the Immortal just kind of snapped, and this is interesting. He's done a lot of bad stuff only to get only to bring Mark back, at least future Mark back to kind of end him.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of tragic and sad. And we know, I love that we find out that the Immortal, he wasn't really evil. He just couldn't handle the pressure, and he just mentally snapped. And it's this thing of like he had all the robots prepared to like give the power back to the people as soon as he was like actually dead. But the Immortal has all these stupid conditions, or he can't just throw himself into the sun because it's the coward's way out. It's like, really, Immortal?
He just give the power back to them. It's not that simple. A king needs to fall.
Jacob, what did you just say?
A king needs to fall.
No, before that.
Power back to the people?
No, before that.
I don't remember.
It's not that simple.
Yep, it's not that simple. But yeah, basically, yeah, he's like, a king must fall. Basically, he wants to be a symbol for a symbol.
So he's just so deluded, and it's just kind of, and it's also sad. And I love that Mark, he takes no play. Again, he very much desperately does not want to kill anyone, and he's just, again, I feel so much for this Grayson kid ever since the first episode. That's what really sells me on this show, and just seeing him in this position where, again, it's kind of we basically put him in kind of a Man of Steel position here, where he's kind of forced to only more of in a merciful kind of way. It's like he kind of has to, he kind of has to pull a Zod here. He kind of has to kind of separate the head from the body.
I mean, I'm all for heroes having a moral code, like having a moral code, but sometimes you have to admit that it would sometimes be better for the world at large if the heroes sometimes did break their just bend their code a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. Look, I'm not just trying to turn this into a Man of Steel thing. I'm just saying with Man of Steel, there's always that thing of like, there was an interesting opportunity there where Superman was forced to do something very much not in line with his core beliefs, but it was like a desperate situation, a situation in which you empathize with, for a fact he wasn't like becoming evil. And, the world probably wouldn't reflect kindly on what he did, even though he did something for the greater good. And these are really interesting questions. We did nothing with in BVS, but that's not the point. The point is, Mark has to, we see that here where Mark is like contemplating what he had to do, and I love like like Fight Master and Dropkick saying, "Oh man, I didn't expect it going that way, but thanks." He's like, don't thank me for that. Just you feel so bad for him.
Yeah, he took no pleasure in doing it, even though it is even though it is in the future and all that.
It's like right now the conflict he's going through. Everyone and their mother is like saying, "Yeah, you need to kill people," but it's like this fine line of like, what? See, people are afraid of the power that I have, even when I'm on their side. And by the same token, everyone says you should just kill indiscriminately, like kill all the bad people.
I mean, there's obviously arguments for each for.
Well, yeah, but it's like he's just caught in the middle of all this, and you feel bad for him. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to kill because he was raised to believe that heroes don't kill. Heroes don't kill, but he's gonna have to face the fact that one day he might have to save more lives than basically to save the lives of the people he cares about.
Yep.
It's not that'll make it easy. Right? I mean,
Yep.
it's not gonna be an easy thing to do, but it might be something that would be entirely necessary.
Basically, it's fine. It's traversing the fine line of that morally, which is kind of the interesting thing. Invincible can do that not a lot of other superhero things have done or can do.
Yeah.
So let's see. So
he does something keep the head and body separated, otherwise he'll just come back.
then we have the time travel joke with the clothes.
Yep. Kind of a sad joke, but
yep. All right. So the important takeaway from all this is that Mark and Eve, they're perfect for each other. She's there. She kind of consoles him. Tells him that it relates it to the whole future Eve situation.
Just don't become a world conquering dictator. If you do become a world conquering dictator, I'll kick your butt.
Yeah.
As long as you do this, as long as you do the same for me.
Oh, you'd never do that. Oh, I do now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then they return the Declaration of Independence,
and they have a nice date.
That's lovely. It's such a they put in like the door of the building.
Yeah, like and way to respect a almost 300-year-old piece of parchment.
Yeah, well, to be fair, sometimes America doesn't respect the 300-year-old piece of parchment.
I guess so.
I don't know. Sorry, it's not political. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny. It's a document.
Yeah,
anyway.
But so yeah, it's like, and since it was the future, they know they can actually change the trajectory of the future now.
Yeah.
And so, and they have a nice day. They like go to all kinds of various locations. They fly around the world.
And they have this beautiful moment where they basically say "I love you" to each other. And they've been through so much, and we say, I love that we're not just thrown in there willy nilly because they have been through a lot. And we kind of use a few like little quick flashes to remind us of that while they're having like kind of this "Can you read my mind" flight.
It's like this might be a bit too quick, but I love you. It was nice.
It was very nice.
And
so
and then they fly home.
And they went from the declaration to doing the deed.
Yeah, but she even snapped their clothes off. And then the narrator returns.
Yeah, so I love this is a fun runner. The runner we brought back from the previous season. Where
we leave Mark and Eve.
So it still cracks me up with this. I like to think, in my headcanon, mind you, there's nothing to support this, but in my headcanon, see, Kirkman sounds a little like Paul F. Tompkins to me. So I really like to think, in some sense, the narrator is Kirkman basically saying, yeah, because he's on record of saying, like, he's going to steer away from doing, like, the nudity or the sexual stuff in the show. But apparently, if we're going to do that, we're going to steer away from it in a funny way like this. So so it feels like it's like Kirkman interjecting and saying, "And let's go back to our other story."
Pretty much, but first a
reserve private time.
But first a recap for those with short attention spans.
Yep. So so I want to real quick before we do the recap. So I want to say this because you weren't here for this. Well, I mean, you were here, but you were here in spirit for this. So in the comic, I wasn't thrilled. Now, mind you, again, I only read it one time, so I can't really, I'm really analyzing it. But just from what I recall, I never really the back and forth in which we had a lot of back and forth between like Alan and Nolan in prison to what was going on with Mark on Earth. And I was always more interested in the Mark on Earth stuff, and it's the fact that when we kind of kept going back to Alan and Nolan, it just kind of dragged a little for me. But the way we've been adapting it here, and I presume a 3-act structure, because it really feels to me like, we had we had the one scene we did episode 1, I think. Yeah, the post credit scene of episode 1
of this season.
Yeah, this season.
All right.
So we had that, we have this, and I presume we're gonna have a third one where they're either on their way back or something's happening in space. The point being, we're gonna check in with them one more time. So it feels like instead of kind of dragging things out or showing them build a resistance or whatever, it feels like we're going to economize that maybe in a way like this. I'm suggesting maybe it's in 3 parts, which I think would probably work most economically. But the point being, however they're doing it so far, I'm very on board. I'm very captivated by it. And I think it's playing a lot. I don't know if maybe it's a challenge of the medium going from animation where you have to make every minute count to the comic where you can kind of go on for a while. I don't know how fair a comparison that is.
I mean,
again,
obviously,
I haven't reread it.
I mean, obviously, it's a different way of conveying the story as well. Like pacing in a comic book is obviously very different from pacing in an animated TV series.
Exactly. So I don't want to judge it too harshly because of that. But I don't know if it's just the medium or not. But I really did it for me the way we've been doing it here versus my experience reading through it the one time. I just really liked the
And it could just be Kirkman wanting to try something different too.
That's the thing. So I don't know how much of that might be him saying, you know what, maybe we did kind of pad out a little bit. Let's kind of economize it here, which essentially, again, he's getting a second bite at the apple with the whole series and readapting his work, and it's been great. It's been he's been doing the Under the Red Hood treatment for it,
Oh yeah, Under the Red Hood being another big example of maybe the hero should bend the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, a case of a character wanting another character to bend the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, still probably the best animated Batman movie ever made outside of.
Sure.
I mean, it can be argued to say Master of the Phantasm could count too, but I mean, Under the Red Hood, man.
I mean, it's in the top 5. You got Phantasm, you got Dark Knight Returns, you got Under the Red Hood, and that doesn't say you have those are your go-tos.
For Dark Knight Returns, do you count both parts or
I mean, look, they re-release one whole movie. It's parts. It's one movie. So basically, Dark Knight Returns is one movie.
All right, but yeah, I mean that's one of the definitive non-DCAU Batman movies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho, yeah. So
I just want to go back. I don't think I was there for the episode when this happened, but I still remember. I rewatched if I watched a video the clips of the title gags, the one we tried to pull here.
Yeah,
it's to survive you must be Alan. Unfortunately, they didn't do that this episode.
Yeah,
but this is the biggest Alan the alien moment seen in the season so far.
Oh yeah. So yes, we do the recap and we show that Alan basically he played possum so he can rescue Nolan and get him on the side of the taking down Viltrum.
Yep, but it was a lot of fun scenes. It's a lot of fun seeing their banter, them trying to Alan trying to convince Nolan to join his cause.
Seth Rogen is so funny as Alan the alien. I just can't stand it in the best of way. I love him so much in this role.
It's honestly one of probably his.
He's really good at playing one-eyed aliens or one-eyed kind of meat creatures, Yeah,
it's when Seth Rogen is not usually when he's you know what I'm trying. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but he's a good character actor. Even when the character's not the usual pothead that he's supposed to be known as, he's still a good character actor nonetheless.
That's the thing. He's given good material. I'm saying Seth Rogen just be naturally funny and personable, and I think Alan the Alien lends himself to play to his strengths.
It's yeah.
So they became friends. They ultimately kind of become friends at this point, and Nolan's wishing him well, saying goodbye, my friend.
Or best friends.
Best friends.
Yes.
Maybe not best friends, but they're friends.
Like, they're not gonna go into somebody's house and search the underwear drawer.
No, they're not there yet.
If you people know, if you guys know, you know.
It's just like, Alan, put down my wife's underwear.
I miss my wife.
So that began like
No,
the
not
breakdown of their.
yeah, not like that, folks. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. Oh god. So yeah, like Alan is just kind of wearing Nolan down.
Yeah, so there's again the likability and the humor of Seth Rogen, which you believe okay, at some point he could kind of needle his way in there and kind of become friends with Nolan.
Nolan of all people, yeah. I mean, of all the Viltrumites, like, and besides Thetis.
Yeah, I love my favorite gag with my favorite Seth Rogen delivery in this episode was when Nolan's like going on like shutting him down, saying I've betrayed my wife, my son, all this just Alan just going on like, oh, why couldn't they have used a bigger laser? Just like every time all the maudlin stuff. Why couldn't they use just genuinely asking why couldn't they have used a bigger laser? Just because every time they tried to kill him, it just that scene was so funny to me too. Every time it's great comedy. They're just trying to kill him and it just keeps killing like the executioners.
Yeah, just constantly firing the giant laser and explodes on them and it kills everyone else.
Just Alan's reaction to all this too of just like, what do we do now?
It was more of like their executions were just more of a minor inconvenience to Alan.
Exactly. Thank goodness he had that growth spurt.
Yeah, growth spurt is the word for that. But he's now the same. Remember, he became swole.
Well, that's another way of putting it.
Didn't we coin the term Alan the Swolian?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you coined it, but yeah.
I think you and he was either Rohit or Mutali or someone like that who was doing
it.
Yeah,
maybe.
And I typed in Alan the Swolian.
Yep.
I don't care. I still stand by that. It's funny.
Okay, so Nolan's all healed up and he's about to be executed because the whole Viltrum custom is that they have to be at full strength before they're beaten to death.
which is a weird thing, but
well, it's just they're very aggro in Viltrum.
And also an excuse for Nolan to be back at his full strength.
Yeah, I still really love that Viltrum is kind of it's kind of like everyone's always paired like we've always done like who would win in a fight, Goku or Superman. We've kind of fused them together with Viltrum. I really love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although in reality, Goku and Superman wouldn't fight; they'd team. And maybe after initial spar, they'd team up.
Well, Goku would love to spar with Superman.
I know, but he would, but
at that not like to the death. He would just want to spar with him for fun. And
I know.
Let's face it, Superman. Here's the thing: Superman's going to win that fight by the same token, though. Superman's going to be outclassed because Superman barely knows how to fight.
Yeah, but either way, Superman. Like I said, I don't know. I had a point, but I lost it.
Well, the combination of the Viltrum to the whole like Superman saying.
I was like, it's like, oh yeah, but it's like they'd eventually team. They'd eventually team up after that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so yeah, the Viltrumites are kind of an interesting custom. Like they beat someone down, take him for execution, heal them up, then beat them down again.
Yeah, only to death this time.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, why didn't they just execute him in the first place?
Well, no, that's the thing. It's an honor thing. They want him to suffer, so like, no, we're gonna let you heal up and then beat you to death, like on our turn. Like it was like a survival death. Yeah. This is a ceremonial death.
Yeah, because he's probably thing they only afford to the Viltrumites.
Plus, it's like the humiliation. Now you're gonna be in prison, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but as it turns out, that was a mistake.
Oh, big mistake. So, Alan incites a prison break, which he could have escaped at any time. So he incites a prison break
because remember, he was just doing it to get close to Nolan.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes to save Nolan, but he needs a little help to get to him in time, and he breaks out all the inmates, and initially they're faring okay. Then he needs a bigger assist, so he goes for the ultimate kind of prisoner they have there, who is
the return of Battle Beast.
So Battle Beast way back in season 1, episode 5, I believe, was like one of the coolest. I always really loved that episode of Invincible because we introduced Titan, who was also a really good character. And anyway, so Battle Beast.
Michael Dorn doing the voice.
Yes, Michael Dorn doing the voice of Battle Beast, and he is so freaking cool. He was freaking cool there, and he's even. I love this. He was already cool in season 1 when he showed up, but now he is like 20 times cooler.
He wants to, and now he's thirsting for battle against a Viltrumite.
God, and he's like,
And
how many Viltrumites? Man, that's a really specific question. Okay, there's like 3 Viltrumites. One of them's a buddy, so hands off. But the rest are fair game. Fair game. This term pleases me.
Fair game.
God, how awesome is Battle Beast?
He's pretty cool. He's desperately looking for a challenge. And if I die in battle, I'll savor it even more.
It's very Craven the Hunter-esque, He's
comic/video game comic that Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, like an actual Craven the Hunter, not just a guy cosplaying as Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, like the movie.
Yeah.
It's like Spider-Man's the game Spider-Man 2's Craven the Hunter is like one of the best depictions outside of the comics.
I still love that teaser where it looks like Craven. Basically, he kills like the movie Craven.
Yep. I don't think that was intentional on
I know, but it looks kind of like it, and I think it's funny.
And speaking of Insomniac, their president of 30 years just left recently.
Oh.
Ted Price, he recently, I think he's about to retire. I think, well, not if he hasn't, I think he's about to retire.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's a shame.
We won't really have any other time to bring that up, and it is superhero related.
No, I get you. I'm just saying I didn't expect it, but that's a shame.
Yep, he helped found the studio. He's been there for over 30 years, led them since their PS1 days, and now he's about to retire.
All right. Okay, so
but and this time but the interesting thing, he bring up the Craven parallel, but he's kind of interesting that he's actually a beast himself.
Yeah.
So kind of a fun hodgepodge there.
Hodgepodge.
So he's thirsty. You promised me Viltrumites.
Yes, we're almost there. Anyway, so then here's the thing. Okay, I found this very relatable for me. Okay, this the fact that Alan's directionally challenged. I just love the idea. This is like a worst nightmare situation for me. Like, oh god, you're in an action movie situation, and it's like, well, I don't know where to go. There's no maps. I don't know where I'm going. Like when I'm playing video games, I'm always checking the map. I want to know where the heck I'm going.
Yep, I know the feeling.
So that's what I'm saying. So this is like I felt it's such a relatable. And plus, here's the thing: we've set this up too. Alan, even when he looks at the memory, he goes to the Earth. Like, where does he live again? He's directionally challenged on a global scale as well.
And he even asked him, like, while they were floating in space, like, wait, where do you live?
Can you point to where you live just so I can find it again?
He's like, seriously?
I love that. So this is the kind of stuff. So Alan has very relatable problems.
Alan adds a lot of levity to the show.
Absolutely. So, anyway, so then, of course, by the skin of his teeth, he gets Battle Beast his battle before he turns his attention to him. He crashes through the floor.
Yep, and as it turns out, right beneath them is where the other Viltrumite guards were torturing Nolan.
So 2 Viltrumites are beating the tar out of Nolan, and Nolan ends up Alan's basically the Battle Beast. He charges at him, and Alan has to fight one of them, but seemingly Alan is kind of getting his butt whooped. And it's up to Nolan to save Alan.
And probably the first truly heroic thing Nolan has ever done.
Well, I mean, maybe like the bug people, but
Well, like one of the first few things, because obviously his life as a superhero on Earth was just a ruse.
Yeah.
But outside the bug people, like one of the first truly heroic things he's ever done.
Yeah.
Like saving Alan. It's Alan and Nolan.
And I love the fact that he's again he's got kind of like a very surface level, like in quotes, friendship with Alan before. Now he actually has a genuine he has a familiarity with Alan like in the first season. Like, oh yeah, son, this guy comes around, he's gonna fight him a little bit, you'll be fine. And here it's developed into something. He actually kind of cares about him. The fact that Nolan feels very much like a pariah, and like Alan's the only one who's not treating him like that. And I think that speaks volumes to him on some level.
Because obviously Nolan's like, I betrayed my people on Viltrum and Earth.
Yep, I miss my wife.
Aw.
That's what I said. So the miss again. That's the thing. He is very lonely right now. Plus his other wife's dead. You know, he's got nothing. He's feeling very alone.
His he does he's his oldest son doesn't want anything to do with him right now.
Yeah,
He's not even in his youngest son's life.
yeah.
So yeah, he's not in the best place right now.
No,
And
it's in
and
prison.
he and so he has a friend named Alan.
Yes. So, anyway, so they get into an awesome fight, and then we're in space, and they have like yeah,
And of course, Alan's the one. Like, of course, I just love how they even get into space. Like, Alan sees like the fact that one of the aliens' heads is stuck in the lock, and he just like, you can hold your breath, right, or something like that.
Well, I think he's like, do you think Battle Beast can hold his breath in space?
He's like, what?
Anyway, so then he ejects them all into space to get rid of all like the little cannon fodder guys.
Yep. You're talking about like Guardians.
What?
Because it reminded me a lot of Guardians too. You know,
I mean, yeah,
when Taserface, had all of the other Ravagers out of the airlock.
yeah, I guess so. It's a lot like the Ravagers thing. Yeah, sure.
But as you were saying,
Anyway, yes. So we have a fun battle in space, and we have like this big kind of moment from the comics that we recreate here. We have like the double punch to kill one of the Viltrumites.
like where Alan and Nolan's punches connect on both sides of the head.
Right at the same time, which it's like the ultimate. Basically, it's the most deadly fist bump you'll ever see.
That's definitely another oh my god moment, but I wanted to yeah.
Yes, that's a lot of people cheer. A lot of the Invincible fans cheered for that one because that was like a cool moment from the comic. That was like, oh my god, they've been made even more horrific. Oh yeah.
It's like yeah. It's like there are a lot of moments like where you're like oh my god, but that's more like a heck yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my
Oh my god.
I didn't mean for my voice to crack, but I think it added to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, most epic fist bump of all time, which we really considered putting as a thumbnail, but
Unfortunately, YouTube is a little squeamish when it comes to the violence.
I mean, little characters covered in blood, kind of. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
but not people's like faces being caved in from both sides.
Yeah, and the eye popping out.
Yep. But it was awesome either way.
So we have the gag of like, yeah, man, wonder what Battle Beast is, and we see Battle Beast like still like he's having a good time just kicking the crap out of the Viltron.
Yep, it's like I would give you a high five, but my hand's kind of gross right now.
Yep. So ultimately, Alan, he gets. I love this approach here. Say, look, I get it if you don't want to join the cause here, but it's still, I mean, he gets him on board ultimately. He convinces him to, people are psychopaths. I understand you don't want to betray them, but
And Nolan actually reveals a vital piece of information to Alan.
Well, also real quick, we gotta show. I love the detail that Nolan's kind of wise to you. were playing possum a little during that, weren't you?
Like, well, I had to motivate you.
And again, still Nolan is just very touched. Like, why did you do this for me? He says, like, well, we were in prison together. We're friends.
Yep.
All right, so then he says, okay, well, this is great. We should probably get going because the other Vultures there. He says, oh, they're not coming. Okay, you can't just drop something cryptic like that on me. Why do you know they're not coming? And then we have the big reveal, Jay. What is the big reveal?
There are less than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left in the entire universe.
So this was a really cool reveal from the comic. I forget if it was in this moment, but it was a reveal that the Viltrumites are in short supply, and mainly because
pure Viltrumites.
Well, yes, but that's we established it's frowned upon for them to breed. It's not that it doesn't happen, but it's like very like they were mad at Nolan for like if you breed with someone below your status, it's very it's very frowned upon. So you're right though. It's not saying it's not impossible, but Like Mark's okay, but like for example, Oliver was like they were planning on killing Oliver because he was like very much like a visual. They're very elitist on Viltrum.
Yeah. I mean that much is obvious.
I mean, here's the thing: the reason they're down the 50 is the whole point of the Viltrums. A very Saiyan like kind of mentality is like we're gonna root out all the weakness in our societies. Like the Viltrums did kill each other until they had the strongest people on the planet. So they're the most aggro mustachioed kind of people, in the universe.
Yeah.
So because of that, I love the idea that they're pretty much the pureblood Viltrumites. They're under 50 now, down by 4.
Yep. So definitely less than 50.
I think because you have Nolan who's on the side of good now. You got
Yep.
we killed one during that battle, last season, and then we killed these two guys. So that's 4. So we're down by 4. So we are really probably like at least like 48 or something, and now it's probably under that.
Like maybe like 45 or something.
Yeah.
Like so like they have Nolan, Thetis, and I think Thetis is considered pure
Well,
blood.
yeah, that's the thing. Thetis is probably off the board as well. So that's
I mean, my question is Thetis is considered a full blood Viltrumite, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But he's like one of the few to develop a conscience.
Exactly. So that's the thing. So they're down by at least 5, I guess. So 45 to maybe 44, because you can say under 50. You have to wonder. Well, obviously it can't be 50. The most it could be is 49.
And so it's like anywhere from like 45 maybe to 49.
Yeah.
It's like I still love that. I know I said this in the extra episode, but I just love the reveal of like Thetis just pulling off his beard. He's like, "Holy crap, you're a Viltrumite!"
Still, it's so funny.
I mean, because that's the mustache.
Let's just say, I love that. Here's the thing: I love in making it under 50. It's almost like there's always the fear in which you have like a nameless army, but it's like kind of Kirkman subverting the whole like the faceless like like Thanos having the Chitauri army. It's like you could potentially know all these people,
Yeah,
or at least remember these Viltrumites. So at a minimum, we have we have a handful of Viltrumites that we would recognize that we have seen so far, and let's just say one of the coolest ones is coming this season, and I can't wait for him to show up. He's the Bane. I don't mean like Bane and I mean he's like the Batman Bane equivalent of Invincible characters. When this guy shows up, and I'm pretty sure I know who's going to voice him, and if they got that guy to voice this character, it is going to be the most awesome thing you've ever seen, Jacob.
it's like there's like an older guy with like an older guy kind of.
Yeah.
Like I think I've seen his image in the comics. Like say
Oh yeah.
if you see this guy run.
Now that's exactly. Now we've seen him cameo in the first season. We saw him very briefly. The voiceless cameo was like when we did the Viltrum flashback. They showed this is like Viltrum looked like. He was there, and we're bringing him back, man. And oh god,
and who do you think they got to voice him?
do you want me to reveal it?
I mean, yes. If it actually is him, then he can have it be for posterity.
I really want it to because they said he's going to be in this season. I really hope he's in terms of the casting character age wise who would reflect this character. The only one, in my heart of hearts, Here's who I want, and I'm going to tell you who I think it is. I wanted Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but they gave me someone possibly even better.
Yeah.
Jonathan Banks.
Ooh.
So Jonathan Banks and Aaron Paul are going to be in this season.
Oh, those would be some interesting polls.
I heard something though recently. I guess people kind of bringing this up. Apparently, Cranston has continually turned down the show.
Yeah, they keep offering him roles, but he keeps turning them down.
I don't know. Knowing that Aaron Paul and Jonathan Banks and Ray Seahorn are in this have been in this show. Why on earth?
Who knows? Maybe he's just waiting for the right part.
Yeah. I still really hope to get Rami Malek to play the big role that only Rami Malek could play in this show.
And who's that?
Well, the leader of Viltrum.
So you'd want Freddie Mercury himself because he looks like Freddie Mercury.
Yep, the leader of Viltrum is modeled after Freddie Mercury, so it would be perfect if they got Rami Malek basically doing kind of an elitist version of Freddie Mercury.
That would be funny.
That's what I'm hoping. I think everyone see Kirkman's a smart guy. Kirkman has to know people are talking about that. Like they gotta,
So he's so the big bad.
Yeah, anyway, so for this character, who I won't say the name of yet, he's let's just say again, I think a lot of people are hoping for Jeffrey Dean Morgan based on the fact that we pretty much have almost the entire cast of The Walking Dead in this series, and it would make sense we get Negan to play a very violent, very menacing character. Which again, I'm not gonna. They could pull a switcheroo. Maybe he is that character, and we're throwing people off. I don't know. But regardless, if they get Jonathan Banks to play this character, that's the only other substitute that could be as cool as Jeffrey Dean Morgan in that role, playing that character.
I mean, that would be. I mean, I could definitely see that being good.
And look, even if they don't get Jonathan Banks playing him, it just seems like a no-brainer. I'd be shocked if he didn't play this character. It just still feels like, I'm sure they're going to get someone good to play him. But I'm just saying, like, when you read the comic, no one's ever we've never heard this guy's voice, but you have to imagine like a cranky and scary old man playing this character.
Like if you're thinking about the guy I'm thinking about, it's the like older guy, bald.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
That's him.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at one of the comic images right now.
It was a big deal when this guy showed up, and I remember we hyped him up in season 2. We said, and Anissa said, like, if you don't do what we say, if you don't come to our line of thinking, basically you don't help, if you don't subjugate your plan on our behalf, they're going to send someone worse.
And what is the guy's name?
Okay, I'm just going to tell. Fine, I'm just going to tell you.
All right.
It's Conquest.
Oh God. It is
a
him.
Guy. If the moment you see Conquest, you better run the other way.
Oh yeah, that's like
as fast as you can.
I've looked into the comic a bit. Like the image I pulled up when I looked up Conquest was just him smiling with blood spattered all over him.
Good God, his Conquest is like the scariest. Oh my God, he's like,
and
it's basically he's basically Doomsday and Bane combined. That's essentially what Conquest is.
If they do in fact get Jonathan Banks or even Jeffrey Dean Morgan to play him, that's going to be incredible.
You see what I mean? You look at that guy, you can see either of those men playing that character.
Oh yeah.
I
can definitely.
I love it when Jonathan Banks does voice work too, because when he does, I mean, for example, he did. No one's ever really talked about this, but he was in season 4 of F is for Family, and he had a really great character, like a really genuinely good performance. And it was like, mind you, this is going to be a lot more angry of a performance if he plays this guy. But still, just the fact that Banks can bring it in animation, man. And, we got to get as much Banks as we can right now.
We did get Banks in Incredibles, so.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, we'll see how it goes.
I'd be impressed if we got Odenkirk in there somewhere too, given we have everyone else but Cranston.
But yeah, if either one of them plays Conquest, he said his name was.
Yeah, Conquest. That's right.
Is I can definitely see why he would want to run from this guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me. Here's the thing. So you know how they hype up the finale of the season? That's what I'm saying. Conquest has got to be the season finale because the Conquest is like the big, like that's the only way you're going to measure up to the train scene in the first season if you have Conquest coming at you.
Oh, it's that bad?
Yes. Jake, seeing this again, it's Doomsday showing up. It's like, again, we're in a show where already, like, every finale is already like a Superman Doomsday battle. If you have an actual, like, Doomsday, a Kirkman version of Doomsday, that's the only way you're going to measure up to that.
Like, Dragon, you're obviously more familiar with the comic than I am.
Honestly, even just reading it through one time, Jacob, this Conquest thing was like a huge like pillar in the story. This guy's like, oh my God, trust me, you're gonna be shocked. You're gonna have so many oh my God moments. You're gonna need more syllables, man.
Like I want to read the comic, but I also kind of want to be surprised by it.
No, try to be surprised by it. That's what I'm saying. God.
So you're saying I shouldn't read the comic then?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying if you want to be surprised, I envy your experience of seeing it for the first time. I'm still going to be seeing anime and seeing with a voice is going to be already experience enough. But that's what I'm saying. You're going to be. I mean, it's a question of how. If they can, I have to assume they're going to be able to adapt. If that's the only way you step it up from, how do we step up like holding his own son's head in front of a train and then beating him near to death on a mountaintop? Like, Conquest is the way to do that, but it's a question of like, if they did all the conquest stuff, that's going to be like, wow, there's like one moment in that conquest fight. I'm just thinking of that. I'm on the edge of my seat wondering. I mean, if they do that, it's like, wow.
Don't spoil that on me. I'm guessing that'd be like another one of the as I've come to call them now, the one of the oh my god moments.
Yes, that you're definitely gonna have an oh my god moment. If again, again, like we've already announced like Banks is gonna be in this season, so I have to, and we hyped up Conquest, and we're hyping up the Viltrumites. I'd be shocked. I'd be utterly shocked if Conquest was not the finale. And Kirkman says the finale of this season is going to be even better than the rest, so it has to be Conquest.
Well, we'll see.
Yep. The real question is if Levy's gonna be. Here's what I expect. I expect Conquest to be our finale, and I think Angstrom Levy's going to be our post credit for the season. That's what I expect. Because I think we're going to build him up for the next season. But mind you, again, I don't know in terms of our events or if Kirkman could always pull from later stories. But he did that in the first season with the Mars mission. It is possible. We could do the Levy thing early, and then like it's kind of okay, we've dealt with Levy, and then Conquest shows up.
Oh God.
Yeah, but again, smart money is knowing they have more seasons down the pike. It would make most sense that we're going to do Conquest and then next season.
What if they potentially? What if they potentially like use him as like the reveal for the end of season 3, and then like have him like be the opener of season 4?
That would be well. That's what I'm saying. It's the fact of like they're gonna wait. Do you mean Levy or do you mean Conquest?
Conquest.
Well, that's if Conquest is the opening of 4. I mean, you're right. That'd be impressive. Like, unless that's Kirkman throwing everyone completely off the sense, like, oh yeah, it's an amazing, it's a shocking finale, and it's like, oh, it's not shocking at all. And then it's like we build up Conquest, like, oh my God, he's coming.
Yep. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't and then that would be how they open with season 4. Like, oh my, like,
well, then they're in danger of like, how do you top that?
I think I don't know, Dragon. I said that's just a guess of what they could do.
Well, yeah, there's they've hinted at some big events so far in this season. At least 3 huge events. Conquest being one of them. We get Conquest, Levy, and by the way, I forget if it's Levy or Levy because I didn't rewatch. Oh, it is Levy. Okay.
Yeah, I just got done binging the 4 episodes to get to here.
Oh, cool. Okay, so Levy. Anyway, so I keep saying Levy because I'm thinking of the color purple and how they say that name there.
Yeah, but it's Angstrom Levy.
Well, see, now you just said it the other way.
It's Levy.
Wait, so it is Levy? It's Levy or Levy?
Levy.
So it is Levy.
Yes, I just binged the show.
No. You initially said Levy. That's why I'm asking. It is Levy.
I could have sworn I said Levy.
But I'm saying now you're saying Levy. So we're on the same page. It is Levy then.
It is Levy. Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry about this, folks. Anyway,
I mean, I even watched his Omni-Man in Mortal Kombat. When he has a mirror match, he mentions Angstrom Levy.
Oh, nice. Anyway, yeah. So Angstrom Levy, Conquest, and we also we name dropped Invincible possibly getting sick. And there's also a 4th one, but let's just say we teed up robots working on something. So that's going to be a big story.
Oh yeah.
And remember, in the future, we had this whole thing where we saw like not this episode's futurist, and like the finale of last season's future, at least alternate future. We saw we had Rex, operating robot. Like not Rudy, but Rex.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Well, so yeah, something big's gonna happen.
Yep, but speaking of something big happening, we have our kind of our fun post-credit here, Mark and Eve and the Afterglow, and this is the charm of these 2 crazy kids together, and they're so freaking adorable, aren't they?
And then Debbie almost walks in.
Yep. I tell you, man, Jillian Jacobs, she's so fantastic. Like the giggle and everything? It's precious.
It's like, Mark, you in there? Like, yeah, Mom, I'm Can I come in? Like, I'm not decent.
I really hope there's this joke in the comic after that scene where like the next morning he's like, "I'm studying, mom," and then the next morning Eve's like flying out and like Debbie's like gardening and saying, "Studying my foot," you know. It's
It's like, yeah, he's studying something, all right.
that's like so. I wonder in this case it might be like if Debbie might just like kind of like see her like flying out or just like kind of she knows Debbie's smart enough to know what's going on.
Like, yeah, but it was like I was like, everyone's basically like, it's about damn time.
Exactly, dear God, yes.
It's about time.
There's this that's the thing, you know. I We'll see how much they push the on. Well, again, with the whole Paul F. Tompkins narrator gag, it's pretty firm
It's
that
like,
we're
while they're enjoying each other's company.
yeah
I like how like he kind of like eased into it, like it's like believe me, Mark and Eve while they're enjoying each other's company.
yeah. So I think it's pretty safe to say we're skirting by a lot of the nudity and sex from Invincible. But then again, we did
but
have Rex Splode drop in trow in like episode 1 of this season, so I don't know.
was like was there actually explicit nudity in the original comic?
Well, not explicit, but we did.
I mean, with like nothing was shown.
Well, no. We saw some buttocks.
All right, but no, but nothing else.
No. We didn't. That's it. We didn't go that. But we didn't go Savage Dragon with it. Are you familiar with Savage or the Savage Dragon comics at all?
No,
That
I mean,
one,
it does kind of sound familiar, but
that one they went full tilt with. There's a lot of like really shocking kind of sexual stuff in that one.
all right.
But I believe Invincible is crossed over. So Savage Dragon is an Image, comics, and the Image comics did cross over each other. Spawn, Invincible, and Savage Dragon. Now, mind you, Invincible didn't really cross over a lot with like Spawn might have been like a gag we had with the the Spider-Man thing we had last season. So
Yep.
anyway,
So yeah, so big things are coming to Invincible.
and Eve as well.
Yep.
Anyway,
Dragon, was that meant to be an innuendo?
kind of.
All right.
I mean, in general, there's some big stuff coming with Eve, and well,
Like I meant I wasn't trying to make it into a joke, Dragon.
I know, but it's a bit of both.
I meant, but things are good. Obviously, big things are going to be coming in Mark's life. So,
Yeah.
and not all of them are going to be good. It seems.
Oh God, no. Again, just everything's gonna go great until you hear Jonathan Banks show up.
Whoever he may be voicing.
Yep. Well, I mean, no, assuming he voices Conquest, but whatever. I don't know. I'd be shocked if if we did not have Jonathan Banks voice that character. We'll see.
Who was the other one you suggested? Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be my first pick for that character. I mean,
I mean, I can see either one honestly. As I
That's what I'm
mentioned.
saying. I'm down for both. I want to be clear. If they get either of those guys, I'm going to be happy as a clam. Like that's perfect casting. I mean, Banks. I didn't think but Banks is a choice I wouldn't imagine. But because I just imagine Jonathan Banks and like this giant hulking, body. I mean, it's not the first thing you imagine, but it sounds ridiculously cool if you pitch that to me.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so that brings us to the end, and we'll be We'll be recapping the next episode
Oh yeah.
sooner than you know it.
Stay tuned for more Invincible.
Yeah.